Somebody fickt on spawn! I'm not having this!
Says that for 10 episodes. Greetings and salutations, viewers. I'm StarPrincessHLC, coming at you with a completely new kind of review. But this one's a little bit different. This time it's not based off of an OVA, based off a game. It's instead based off of, I guess essentially a YouTuber who does games. I'm talking, of course, about Pewdiepie, YouTube's most famous Swedish YouTuber with over 42 million subscribers. Yeah, he kind of has a little show going out on YouTube Red as a way to probably promote the whole monthly subscription thing along with the no ads. Scare Pewdiepie. Basically, he is going around and getting scared by real life games. It doesn't live up to the hype that YouTube's been putting out for this series. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to look at them individually and find out for sure if it's really worth the $10.99 monthly subscription, or if it really is just essentially a waste of time and money. So, with that, let us begin with the very first episode of Scare Pewdiepie. Let's play Doctor. Howdy ho! Just as a quick little note for everybody involved right before we get started is, I'm not doing this as any kind of attack on Pewds or like trying to boost his ego or anything. He can do that well on his own. I'm just trying to see this as a various different technical standpoint, so please don't think that I'm attacking anybody or praising anybody just simply for reviewing this. I kind of wanted to check it out myself, see if it's worth the hype, because it's been advertised a lot around YouTube, and the fact that he even ended up on Conan O'Brien talking about it and such, it's a big deal, and it's promoting a new idea on YouTube with YouTube Red, so I only felt like it was kind of an interesting little thing to see where it's going from there. Hi, I'm Creepy Face now. I'm in Hollywood now. But essentially, the whole point of this one, I think, was mainly to test the waters a little bit, see if Pewds could handle what they were going to throw at him, because the big thing they were pointing out right at the beginning of it was they were setting up, because they were pretending essentially that he was going in for a doctor's appointment, but in reality they were testing the waters, saying like if his heart rate goes over 145 BPM or BMP, something like that, that he would not be physically fit to deal with all that they're going to be throwing at him, and the whole thing is just basically scrapped. He looked kind of terrified being in that thing. But essentially throughout this whole thing, it's basically the whole thing is he's in a doctor's office setting, and they're like testing the waters, like switching around doctors around to see if he would notice or if he would get upset over the fact that supposedly like some silent patient is wandering about pretending to be a doctor.
You been eating well?
Trying to.
Looks good.
Trying to.
Yeah, it looks good.
The fact that I understood that is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then it even gets into weirder things where it's like they're clearly setting it up where it makes it look like Pewds might have some issues with blood or pain and such by some of the images they show him on screens and things.
That's interesting.
The sting and the music makes me think of something bad. It really is just basically testing the water, seeing what Pewds could be comfortable doing and what, you know, what probably he's going to expect going down the line of, you know, the various weeks he was in LA doing this. So, yeah, good luck, you're probably going to die. That's the vibe I got from that. But probably the big thing that I noticed right off the bat with this is that they pretty much, I think, gave away all the good scares right at the beginning with the little trailer, because right at the beginning, that's always the thing where Pewds goes like, "How's it going? My name's Pewdiepie," and then they're like showing various clips of what's going to happen either in the episode or probably even episodes later on, and it's like, yeah, it looks cool, but at the same time, you're kind of giving away all the good information, all the good scares that are going to come up in the video or videos later on, and it seems kind of strange that they would do that, considering, you know, they're trying to get people to come back and watch. It's a monthly subscription, so it seems kind of weird that they would just automatically churn out all the best parts of the series right off the bat. This looks neat, but at the same time, you're giving away all the good scares with these little openings. And then also, they seem to be trying to do something with like this weird reality TV kind of thing. I mean, it's essentially a reality TV anyway, because he's reacting to real life scares. But they're trying to do like this like minor little thing, I think, with the development crew in the background, like trying to trick Pewds. And then they had this one thing with this girl Nikki who, for some reason, gave me some like eerie vibes, like almost like she was like touching him in weird places, and like saying he's like her unicorn, and constantly like kissing ass on him and saying like, oh, how handsome he is. And it's like that made me a little bit uncomfortable. And then especially at the end when she gets kicked from the group, she supposedly gets fired, and she storms out in a massive rage. It just felt very weird, and it almost seems like they're trying to set up for more with this girl, like she's a stalker or something. And I don't know, that seemed like it was a really weird little thing to just slip into this when the whole thing is supposed to be about, you know, Pewds getting scared by real life games. I just thought that was a little odd.
Jesus.
Wow. Anger issues much? What the hell was that? But one thing that did kind of surprise me on it is Pewds' reaction to this very first thing. Like, I think it was that he generally was confused and thought he was just going for a doctor's visit, and then all of a sudden all this stuff was happening, because he just seemed to freeze, like, terribly on some of these things. Like when the doctor came in and it was a completely different doctor, and he didn't respond to it, he just was, like, frozen, like, what do I do in this? Like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? I'm very confused. I think, you know, he really just didn't expect obviously he didn't expect any of this, and his reaction, you know, was very much that he was freezing up and was like, I'm guessing as time goes on, he gets a little bit more comfortable knowing that, strange things are going to be thrown at him multiple times. But you could tell, like, the very first episode that Pewds really didn't know what was going to happen, that he didn't know how to react to it, and his main, like, defense mechanism was kind of just seizing up, and then, like,
Anything you want to tell me?
Anything I want to tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, besides the fact that this is kind of weird that you're showing me these images, I think he'd catch on by now. So, it's interesting to see, especially with, like, the trailers and advertisements and such, especially even at the beginning of the episode, where it's like, you're constantly seeing Pewds screaming and cursing and flailing about like he does, and then just seeing the very first episode where he's like almost literally frozen in fear at what's going on around him. It's a weird little change from what you're used to seeing with, especially with Pewds, who's, you know, infamous for, you know, screaming like an opera singer on helium, just saying. But it was kind of interesting that, you know, the very first episode, he's like, he doesn't know what's going on, and his first defense mechanism is just to kind of seize up a little bit and kind of let things flow a bit more, and Like, he's not spazzing out and freaking out like you see in the trailers.
Did he touch you?
Yeah, no.
All right, thank you.
Don't go, yeah, no. Then they'll think he actually did touch you. But overall, there's not really a huge amount that you can say about this particular episode. This was obviously a testing the waters episode, kind of getting Pewds' feet wet into the whole thing, as well as making sure that he could handle all the scares, which obviously since we had 10 episodes of it, that he was able to continue on and continue with the series up to 10 episodes. I have no idea if they're going to do any more past the 10 episodes. For all we know, he might not do any more. I think it really depends on whether or not the 10 episodes thus far and the success of YouTube Red. I'm totally creeped out about American hospitals now. But overall, it is an interesting thing to see. Kind of seeing, like, as kind of a start of maybe Pewds' progression through the series. I don't know. I'd have to check out the other episodes, but this definitely is interesting to look at. Obviously, there's not a lot of effects at the moment, like props and costuming and such. It essentially was a hospital setting, and you know, you can only do so much with a hospital setting, especially if they were just testing the waters. And then she's like, "Get the straight jacket!" But overall, it was kind of interesting to watch. Like I said, I'm not going into major spoilers with it. I'd rather people watch it for themselves. It's only fair that, you know, a lot of money and a lot of talent went into this whole project, and I want to make sure that they get, you know, the credit that they deserve, and you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was an interesting first episode, I'll give you that. I'm not sure where it's going to go right just from this episode, because again, this really was a testing the waters kind of video. There wasn't much really to go off of, but you know, if the trailers and the advertisements are to believe, it's going to be action-packed coming up, so we'll see what happens in the next one. But for now, this is StarPrincessHLC saying thank you very much for watching, and have a fond farewell.